And now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now here's Jay.
All right, the music's a little weird, but I can sing. Actually, Kathleen, my engineer, she'll come here and sing for you from Titanic, right? No? No, she's not? Maybe later. Okay. In any case, welcome back to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET 1490 AM, where we contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for retirement and how to best stay successfully retired. We have a station call-in number, 951-922-3532. I would especially love for someone who doesn't think a reverse mortgage is any good or has heard bad things about it. I would love that person to call in. And if not this time, then sometime soon. So remember, call me, email me, or visit www.drheckham.com, and that's just spelled DRHECM. So www.drhecm.com. And you can always email me. Email me is easy. You know, just hello. We get back and forth to each other. bestloantoday@gmail.com. bestloantoday@gmail.com. And if you're looking at the website, drheckham.com, which you should be sure to slide down, you can slide down to the YouTube channel's link about halfway down the front page. And they also made some changes up on those blue scrolling pictures up on the front. One of them does the same thing, takes you right to the shows. All the shows are there. There is a little lag time sometimes for me to be able to cut them and get the ads out and do the other things, but they are there, including people you may want to talk to. Guests. Last week's guest has already gotten a couple of leads from calls from the show, so I'm very happy about that. And of course, subscribe once you are there on the YouTube channel. So, and on the website, many professionally written articles, not just by me, but I mean by lots and lots of financial planners and heavy hitters. So give me a call. My off-air number, 866-955-2233. And just in case I don't talk too good, there I are. Now, my day job, and yes, you better be hoping he's got a day job. I'm a loan officer at the Loan Source. And my NMLS number, which is the mortgage licensing national number, is 384565. 384565. I'm also licensed under the Department of Real Estate, but as I've said many times before, I do not sell real estate, but I do help people find the right realtors for that real estate. That number is 792-630. Now, today is a very special day. It's National Creamsicle Day. I never really cared a lot for creamsicles. I mean, for me, it was bring me ice cream or bring me nothing, right? I don't know. But, tomorrow, though, is a little more interesting, and I really plan to take part in tomorrow. Tomorrow is National Chant at the Moon Day. You want to try chanting a little? No, we used to have basset hounds. Both of them were called Louie. First one was Louie. Had him about 16 years. Then the next one was, they look alike. You might as well call them the same. And boy, would they ever howl and howl. So since we're talking about the moon, I'm going to bring us right now into our update on UFO history with NASA Nellie. So introduce yourself.
Okay, this is NASA Nellie, letting you know a little bit about the Mariana UFO incident, which happened August 15th, 1950. Nick Mariana, the general manager of a minor league baseball team in Great Falls, Montana, was inspecting the empty stadium's baseball field before a game. His team was a farm team for the Brooklyn Dodgers. All of a sudden, a bright flash caught his eye. He and his friend saw two bright silvery objects rotating in the sky, believed to be about 50 feet wide and 150 feet apart. He ran to his car and grabbed his movie camera and filmed the objects in color with his 16 millimeter camera for 16 seconds. This is historic because it's considered the first film of a UFO. The day after, local newspaper Great Falls Tribune described his sighting and the film in an article and was picked up by other media outlets around the nation. For several weeks after, Mariana showed his film to local community groups. A captain from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio interviewed both Mariana and his friend. That's when they added the fact that they did also see jet fighter planes pass over the stadium after that sighting. The captain sent the film for analysis, and apparently later, Mariana discovered 8 feet of film was missing and thought those frames clearly showed the objects were not jets. The missing film was controversial for decades. Over the years, this film had been the subject of study during Project Blue Book, as well as Project Grudge, and also examined by Carl Sagan, who said the objects were completely unidentifiable. There were lawsuits that emerged against debunkers that claimed Mariana was a liar, publicity hound, and half-wit. The Air Force wanted to see the film again for a second analysis. Mariana agreed only after requiring the Air Force to sign an agreement saying that they would not remove any frames from that film. The interpretations at Wright-Patterson were that the objects were not birds, balloons, or meteors. Reflections from jets were also ruled out. The jets were not anywhere near the objects, so the conclusion was they were of unknown origin.
All right, let's get back to Howling at the Moon, because we're getting ready to do that. Oh, you bring that over,
Well,
sure. For tomorrow. Now, I want to go back and do a little bit of nostalgia here, which I did just the other day also, and go back to 2008 when thousands and thousands of older homeowners lost their homes because there was no such thing as a forbearance. Forbearance has become a big word these days, obviously because of the COVID and all the laws and things that are going along with that. But back in those days, they didn't have that. And those people that had a home equity conversion, they probably would not have lost their homes where so many others would have because they had no payment to make. They absolutely had their forbearance built in. Now, isn't it really time just to stop and learn? And I don't care whether you start by howling at the moon, but not till tomorrow. Isn't it time to start to learn what this reverse mortgage or this home equity conversion really is? So many older people, yeah, even older than me. I am about the I'm about the oldest baby boomer you can find. I think a day after, anybody born a day before me is a depression kid. But I'm a baby boomer, so maybe I'm a little bit more open because people don't want to have a loan on their house. Well, you know what? When you were 25, you didn't want a loan on your house either, but you did want a house. And with one of these loans, you don't have to owe a whole lot of money or anything. It's just making the equity liquid, which will protect your whole family, including your children. So when it comes to the home equity conversion or reverse, just know the facts. Compare the numbers. It's much too important an issue to ignore, and you certainly don't want to eliminate it based on not fully understanding it. It's equity availability. It's not equity taking. It's flexibility. Okay? So, again, give me a call, 866-955-2233, or just email bestloantoday@gmail.com. Why? Because you need to know more about the choices you really have and how to protect what you have. I have a team of experts. By the way, team of experts. You know, I was on Ron Siegel's show yesterday. I hope you were able to listen or watch. And I like to think that we do share teams of experts. So if you haven't listened or watched Ron's show, do that. Please make use of all of us. Call me, and I can direct you to anyone you hear on the show or others, or look for them on the YouTube station because the contact information is always given there. Okay? So remember, we don't need a forbearance. These are automatically your own choice for a forbearance. So let's remember that we believe in challenging the status quo, and our families and people need to be active, not reactive. So let's continue here on the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET 1490, the mighty Met. Remember, www.dred. I'm from outer space, speaking of the moon. www.drhecm.com. And call me 866-955-2233. It's somebody's famous birthday today. There's always people's birthdays. Sometimes they're famous. James Horner, and I was surprised yesterday looking at this. James Horner was killed in an airplane accident in 2015. He was an avid pilot and kind of had a real passion for small planes. But James Horner was born in 1953, and he composed such films as Titanic. Do we have anything on Titanic, or that sank? Oh, listen. We gotta get a little bit more tequila for some Titanic singing here. He also did Apollo 13, which is, as you know. And again, I do show laser discs because they're bigger if I have them. Sometimes they're pretty cool to play too. And yes, I do have a way to play them. Star Trek, he did The Wrath of Khan, which was a big deal for him. Avatar, which I think everybody that loved Titanic loved Avatar. I'll keep my mouth shut about it, although it did have really great effects, and it was very, very, very entertaining. He did not do Alien, but he did Aliens. And Alien itself, of course, which I think is the masterpiece, that actually borrowed some music from Howard Hanson, some classic, which I think is really beautiful. Cocoon was another one, and Horner started off playing piano and violin at the age of 5, and then went on to teach UCLA music theory. And here's where it gets good. His first real job was with Roger Corman. You know, even last week we discussed Bucket of Blood with Roger Corman. Of course, there's no blood at all in that movie. And Little Shop of Horrors, who was, of course, originally written by Dr. Seuss. But Roger Corman gave so many people their start. And even James Cameron, which we were just talking about, Avatar and Titanic. Now, I think I mentioned this once before, that James Cameron was like a stagehand or did something around there. And when they were looking to do this stupid space, I shouldn't say stupid. I mean, this guy's a genius. All of these people, they did this takeoff Star Wars kind of space movie. And what was the name of that? Battle of the Stars. Battle of the Stars, that's right. Then James Cameron made a model of a spaceship that had female attributes to it, and Roger Corman loved it, and the rest is history. Avatar, Titanic, and the rest. So, you never know. Roger Corman, to me, now that is a real hero. You want to do something about Hollywood? That's Roger Corman. Remember Little Shop of Horrors? We talked about that last week with Dr. Seuss. And all of that, Horner finally did crash doing what he really loved, though, was with a small plane. So he owned many planes. It was a real passion for him. And sorry to see that he is not here for us to share more of that great music. And by the way, we missed Alfred Hitchcock's birthday by one day. So be it. But we'll get around to him maybe next year. Wim Wenders was born in 1945. Maybe some people have really heard of Wim Wenders. I really have. When I was in my 20s, 30s. I mean, this was a big time film director for me out of Germany. It was very, he had his own way, and I would say he had done some of the most celebrated films, or slightly different films, of the 20th century, which really led the way to so much more. For instance, one of his earlier ones, The American Friend, which is supposed to be right on the top, with Dennis Hopper. That was my first exposure, could say, into the world of Wim Wenders. Wings of Desire, which there was a remake made, which we will not mention on this show. Not that remakes are horrible, okay? But this did not need a remake, all right? Beautiful. About angels and real people and how they, get together. And Paris, Texas is another one of I really love Paris, Texas. Now this is a vinyl record of Paris, Texas. And I've got about 6 of them, I think. I love this. Ry Cooder, of course, but this is from the soundtrack, and the sound is amazing also. So go get it if you ain't already got it. And here's another one I really enjoyed, which I believe Criterion has just released in a 5 or 6 hour version. This is one of those soundtracks that has just about, Depeche Mode, Elvis Costello, R.E.M., Talking Heads, Lou Reed, Julie Cruz, Nick Cage, The Bad Seeds, Can, and all of that kind of good stuff. Anyway, great soundtrack, very interesting, and obviously long movie. Another thing Wim Wenders did was Buena Vista Social Club. Now, if you're not, if you don't remember, this was a group of Cuban musicians who are absolutely great. They put a couple of different albums out, and it was pretty much absolutely amazing stuff. And this is just a DVD. I mean, a DVD of it. But it's out everywhere, and if you can get one of the special editions of the vinyl only, that too is great. And it was really spearheaded by Ry Cooder, and I've got about 25 Ry Cooder albums. This just one kind of just popped out, you know what I mean? For the heck of it. And Wim Wenders was also a part of this, which we talked about at a little bit of length about the history of film. So this is another real hero on my part. And we're going to take a quick look at a couple of other things and talk about, in this uncertainty, we need to stabilize our environment, right? Meaning it's time to empower our environment, retirement for now and in the future. So call me, find out about the home equity conversion. We have about 2 minutes left, and we're going to make use of that 2 minutes, because today in 1960, George Pal's The Time Machine premiered. And The Time Machine, Weena, where's Weena? There you go. Time Machine. And you see who wrote the music down there? Russell Garcia. Eat your heart out. I've got his autograph. Or I'm sure my wife got it somewhere, somehow. But he also did The Time Machine. Okay.
That's the laser disc.
And let me show you what my wife got me once for a present that's just, I think, amazing. This is so beautiful. See that? That is a, I think maybe we can pick it up a little bit from there. You can't really see it too much from there. See that? Isn't that great? Anyway, she'd got that to me. And what's the two-sided one? Oh, yeah. Before we go, War of the Worlds on one side, When Worlds Collide on the other. So I know, Sean, these are two of your favorite all-time films, so I'm going to let you go so you can go watch them. And we're going to have a very special repeat guest come on for the second half. And in the meantime, I really, really appreciate your company. I hope you appreciate some of our company. And remember that my boss told me to have a good day, so I went home. And Kaplan will be here on the same corner in front of the cigar store next week. Take care, everyone.